Hiya! Welcome! This is Records Roundup number 102. Quite a bit to show you today. Obligatory mail opening at the end, featuring a couple of items that, format-wise, I've not shown in a Records Roundup for a little while. So let's just get cracking on with it, no more preamble. We'll start with a 10-inch single. It's a new release, or newish. It was out last month as of the time of me recording this. And it is Ice Queen Acoustic from Within Temptation. So this is like an anniversary release. It's not a reissue, I suppose. I think it's a relatively recently recorded acoustic version of a track that originally came out 25 years ago. Yeah, the hype sticker says celebrating 25 years of the breakthrough single Ice Queen and the album Mother Earth, which I do have and I think was Within Temptation's second studio album. This came out on two colour formats. This is from Within Temptation's web store, and I decided to get the one that was the store exclusive. It's out of 500 and mine is number 360. Don't get many 10-inch records, and it's always good to get more Within Temptation on vinyl. So it's a marbled, more or less translucent light blue. Very nice. How many tracks are on this single? It's a 4-track 10-inch. Great track. Whether the acoustic version will be an improvement. Acoustic versions of artists' well-known songs, they can be fine, they can be pretty good, but they never generally, to me, are much of an improvement on the original, so I'm assuming the same for this, but still looking forward to listening to the acoustic version of WT's Ice Queen.
A nightingale sings a song of farewell. You better hide for a freezing hell. On cold wings, she's coming. You better keep moving for warmth. You belong here. Oh, come on, can't you feel it? Can't you see it? You better believe.
Next up is another pretty new release. I think you may have heard of this album. There's been one or two videos about it here in the vinyl community on YouTube. I'm talking about Paul McCartney's The Boys of Dungeon Lane. I won't spend too long on it because I think people might have had their fill of Paul McCartney and Dungeon Lane by now. This is the Rough Trade exclusive, and I'll show the vinyl in a sec. As I've explained before, I do collect Paul McCartney, but I'm kind of doing it slowly. I'm getting the half-speed masters of his 70s work as they're coming out. I have also got the Flaming Pie deluxe box set and his last studio album, McCartney 3. But I'm in no rush to kind of suddenly fill other holes. I'm just sort of taking it very slowly, which is good for me. Normally when I collect an artist, I'm all in very, very quickly, really. A couple of nice bits in this. I'm not sure they differ wildly, if at all, with the multitude of other editions of Dungeon Lane that have come out. It's like above Taylor Swift level, really, all the different variants that have come out on vinyl for this. Nice lyric book with handwritten lyrics, or a facsimile of them, I should say. Then there's a photo card type thing in here somewhere, if I can find it. The Dungeon Lane street sign is embossed, by the way, even though I've not taken the cellophane off. You can tell that it's an embossed or raised cover. There we go. That's the photo you get. That looks the same or very similar to ones I've seen in other Dungeon Lane videos that people here on YouTube have made. Whether Rough Trade got their own Macca pose here, I'm not sure. The inner is very nice. That would have made a nice sleeve, I think, really, as in outer sleeve. And this one, being from Rough Trade, is the gold vinyl edition. Obviously, I'm not interested in any more of them. Just one copy of the album is good enough for me when it comes to Paul McCartney. When I heard Days We Left Behind, I thought that was wonderful. It was a fantastic single, and for my ears, my money, the best Macca solo effort in many years. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the rest of this. I know it's had pretty positive reviews so far. The Boys of Dungeon Lane, the Rough Trade Gold Vinyl Edition. Here's a new release that did take me by surprise, actually, because it doesn't seem that long since he last had a compilation album out, although it could be getting on for maybe 4 years or more now. But he's released another best of. It's DJ Bobo. So I do collect DJ Bobo on vinyl. He did release a new album, a new studio effort, in relatively recent months, and I was just on Discogs one day and saw that this had been added to the new releases section, and I looked and thought, oh, DJ Bobo best of, is that a vinyl release? Is it official, etc.? And yeah, ordered this from the DJ Bobo web store, ran by his label Yes Music. It's a 2 LP set, it's on black vinyl, so I've not unsealed it. It's almost like a kind of truncated version of the other, more elaborate, I would say, best of or hits compilation that he brought out, and which I do have a few years ago. But I think it's updated to an extent, because The Great Adventure is a track that's included, and that's the title track of his latest album. Kind of inessential, really, but as I want to get as much as I can from Bobo on vinyl. He's a Eurodance artist, by the way, for those still confused. Had to have this, the best of DJ Bobo.
Now I know I got the chance to reach the top, it's so intense. In a world made of steel, made of stone.
Now hear the music, close my eyes, I am rhythm. In a flash it takes all of my heart. What a feeling, here's believing. I can't have it all, I'm dancing for my life. Take your passion and make it happen. Pictures come alive, you can dance right through your life.
I feel the passion.
And we have another new release. We are going to get some older stuff very soon, I assure you. Not that it really matters, it could all be new releases really, and it'd still be a nice, fulfilling records roundup. But this one was an announcement made on Bandcamp. I got an email from the artist, and he's one of 2 artists technically credited to this album, but this is the Quarks original soundtrack from Anders Enger Jensen and also Noel Aman. So this is the OST for another game that's been made and presumably published, and it's now being sold or distributed somewhere. I'm not a retro or video game expert, so I couldn't say, but by the 8-bit guy who has been a YouTuber for a long time, and he's collaborated with Anders Enger Jensen and also Noel Aman before, for his last video game release, which was Planet X2, I think. The soundtrack to that came out on vinyl at Anders' Bandcamp page. I bought it, and I did the same for Quarks. It's on black vinyl, and not a lot else to say about it. It's synthwave, but in the chip tune style, so it's going to have that nice SID chip Commodore 64 type sound to it that I really love, and certainly brings back a lot of nostalgia, as I was a big Commodore 64 user in my childhood. Happy to have that, the Quarks soundtrack for the 8-bit guy's new game from Anders Enger Jensen and Noel Aman.
So, what are we going to call her?
Fanny. I want to call her Fanny.
We can't call her Fanny. Fanny, eh? I like it. It's unusual, unique.
My mum's a Fanny. Granny was a Fanny. She'll be joining a long line of Fannies.
Aye, it's good to keep up tradition.
Oh, Fanny, you're just like your daddy.
Now, moving on to a Whatnot purchase, something of a little bit of an older vintage, although it is a reissue of an older album. If you cast your mind back to late May, assuming you watched it, that is, and to an episode of Minidisc Monday, I reviewed Bernard Butler's second solo album, Friends and Lovers, and I loved it. It was only the second time I'd heard it, first in many years, and I'd forgotten what a great album it was. And I remember saying in that video while I was making it, I really ought to buy a copy of his first album and kind of compare, see if his first one is as good as his second one. His first one certainly sold a lot more, and here it is. It is People Move On. So I got the Record Store Day 2021 edition. This was pretty cheap on Whatnot. I won an auction, as you kind of tend to do on there. I think you do get some buy it now listings on there as well though. And I think this ended up being around, I want to say between 16 and 18. So under £20, and it is a double album. I'll show you one of the inners and discs, because this is pressed on, ooh, that's a nice crystal clear vinyl, that. I do prefer the crystal clear to that kind of cloudy clear. As long as it plays well, I don't really care what the colour is ultimately. So this was a much bigger seller than Friends and Lovers, and it had at least a couple, if not more, fairly big selling singles. Bernard Butler had left Suede a few years previously to when this originally came out, which would have been 1998, I think. And he'd also collaborated with David McCalmont in that period as well. Goes in my Suede related collection really, this, as does the other Bernard Butler works I've got, which is the Friends and Lovers minidisc and the collaborative album he did a few years ago with Jessie Buckley. People Move On. Here's a pickup from a website. I have covered them on the channel by now. They were the sponsor, not sponsor, I don't even like the term really when it's not accurate at all, of my last 12-inch dance singles haul video. But also got 2 albums with those singles. It was from Curly Kid Records, and I'd got Erasure's World Beyond, which I showed you in Records Roundup 101, the Erasure special. But there was one more album that I got, and it was Joy Division's Let the Movie Begin. This has always kind of caught my eye. It's one of those semi-official, largely unofficial Joy Division compilations, and there again, like similar Joy Division works I've bought in recent years, it's actually got more kind of just general studio noodlings and interview clips than any proper tracks. But you know me, in for a penny, in for a pound. 30% off this, as of course there was on the entire order. This, I think, should have been around 30 something, and it was down to 20 something, which is cheap as I've ever seen this. It is out of just 1,000. It's the last repressing it had. And mine is number 376. We will have a little look at it. And it's in a music on vinyl style adhesive sleeve. It is gatefold. It's nice. You can kind of tell it's not an official product. It never has been. Look at one of the discs. It is a 2LP album again. And the colour is, I know what it's meant to be, is cream. Is that looking just generally kind of a slightly dullish white on camera? Yeah, cream. I'd say that's a fair assessment of the colour. Very nice. Of course, relating to Joy Division, New Order announced their latest reissue campaign quite recently. Those albums, I have pre-ordered them on multiple formats, and I look forward to showing you them on the channel. I will try and get that video up fairly soon after those have been released, so that should be coming along pretty soon this month, to be honest, unless the release date gets knocked back for whatever reason. And of course I will do a standalone video, as I tend to do for my New Order reissue bundles, as I usually get a bundle of whatever it is. Anyway, back to Joy Division, and that is Let the Movie Begin. Alright, here's an album that I already had, actually. I had it on cassette, and I suppose in a similar vein to when I decided I wanted to upgrade some of my Erasure cassettes to the vinyl albums. I decided to do the same with this, but I wasn't in any rush to, but I was just looking at this artist's section on Discogs, and this is a Discogs purchase, by the way, and someone was selling this album, which isn't his latest studio album, it's the one before, or it might even be the one before that. I lose track because he's released quite a lot of work. But they were selling this for £3, and the reason they were selling it for £3 is because apparently there is a scratch on one of the sides that makes one of the tracks loop or skip or something. Yeah, it's not ideal. I wouldn't choose all my records to be that way. Who would? Unless you're a complete nutcase. I thought, you know what, it's £3, it's coloured vinyl, it's an album from an artist I collect. Yeah, I consider that an upgrade from the cassette. It is The Blue Elephant by Matt Berry. And this is one of the colour variants that came out. I don't know if this was exclusive to Acid Jazz web store originally. This is the blue vinyl version. Am I going to be able to see the scratch? Actually, let me have a proper look. Yeah, I think I can see it on that side. It's not going to come across on camera, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I can see. It's a big scratch actually, but supposedly it only affects one track. £3 for that. Can't be bad. A little bit more in postage, but still highly unusual to get such a relatively recent album. I think this originally came out in 2021. Of course, having already owned the album, I know it, I enjoy it, I enjoy Matt Berry a lot, I'm a big fan. Wherever this was sold originally, it was £15, which I still think is a good price for a brand new album, but £3 is an absolute steal, really. So there we go, another Matt Berry to show you here, and I think he has got a new release, or it's kind of him anyway, coming out. Might be out already by the time you're watching this. And I will show that in the next Records Roundup, no doubt. But for now, that was The Blue Elephant.
Give me that summer sky. Tell me that I can fly. I can walk hell high.
Also from Discogs. In fact, all the rest of the items to show you are Discogs pickups. Here's one that was a bit too expensive really, but I'd only seen it come up once or twice on Discogs, never seen it on eBay. I have loved collecting this group since around kind of autumn last year. And this is Nemesis, best of and reworked by Blutengel. So it's kind of their greatest hits really, up to whenever this came out, which I think was, when was it? There should be a date on here somewhere. And if I had my glasses on, I'd be able to see it. It doesn't matter because you can see the date of it on screen. 2 LPs. Now this is pre-owned and it should have had the CD with it and it didn't. I mean, maybe that's why this had a bit of money knocked off, but it was still from a seller in Germany. Still some taxes to pay. And I think this was still the best part of about 70 something pound. But I couldn't resist it. I do want to try and get as much Blutengel as possible, and there are ways and means to get pretty much their entire work on vinyl, but it gets to be quite expensive, so this really is a marathon, not a sprint. So no CD, but it's just the CD that's replicating what's on the LPs anyway, so I'm not too concerned. If it was like a bonus CD with different tracks, I probably wouldn't have plumped for this, but it wasn't. It was just a duplicate. Another gold vinyl release here. This one nice and shiny, unlike the Boys of Dungeon Lane, which was kind of what I'd call a dirty brown gold. Although this is a compilation, a greatest hits, I think the majority of the tracks on here have been re-recorded, reworked as they say, so it's not kind of a greatest hits in the strictest sense of the term. Either way, I'm so happy that I've got another Blutengel album into the collection. They are fantastic, become one of my very, very favourite groups over the past 6 to 9 months really. Nemesis.
We are your pleasure. We are your destiny. Hey, hey. Children away, your blood is a pleasure. We want your soul. You and I will die as a child of the night. We're living in the darkness. We hate the day. We're hiding in the shadow. To the moon we pray. We are the creatures of the night. We want your blood. We're the seduction of fear. Wanna conquer your world.
Well, I bet she don't clean the bath either.
She never does. She uses my last razor, shaves her legs,
Yeah, or whatever.
or whatever, and then leaves all this stubble in the bath.
Oh, stubble? That's disgusting. I missed a bit. Yeah. Don't talk to me about women, mate.
Bachelor's Super Noodles. Are they really super?
And one more album or LP to look at before the mail opening. Strange tale about this one. No, well, not that strange, but it seemed a bit weird at the time. But it worked out well for me in the end. There was an album that had been on my Discogs want list that I kept being notified by. It was in stock somewhere. Eventually I thought, yeah, it's quite expensive. It was £52.99 and £6.50 in postage the seller was asking. But I decided, you know what, I'm sick of seeing that come up. I've either got to remove it from my want list when I do really want this, because I've got the first part of it. This is a part 2, a sequel if you will. But no, I'll treat myself. I'd sold a few things on eBay recently, so I thought, you know what, I'll use some of that money to put towards this. And I got a message back a day or so after buying this from the seller saying, oh, apologies, I've had to cancel this order and I've issued you a refund. I can't find the album. If I do find it, because I know I've got it somewhere, I'll let you know. I'll relist it for you. I got the refund of nearly £60, and then he messaged me again only a couple of days later. Oh, I found it. It was filed in the wrong section. Do you still want it? And I said, yes, I do. But then I was a bit cheeky. I said, is there any chance you can reduce the postage? Because £6.50 just for one LP is a little on the steep side. And then he sent me a revised invoice and he just waived the postage, which, given that I've still spent £52.99 on it, isn't the greatest of savings, but it felt like a little win to me. So it was kind of worth him having misplaced this record. Anyway, I've been waffling on about it for ages, and it's not going to be of much interest to people watching this because it's the World of Vinyl Groover Part 2. I did get Part 1, which I think I got for a pretty good price actually. That was a year ago-ish. And this is a double album, came out in 1997, Part 1 came out in 97 as well. They might have been out at around the same time, really. I'll show you one of the discs, but it is only black vinyl. Scott Attrell is the real name of Vinyl Groover. One of my favourite happy hardcore artists, one of my favourite artists generally, really. Quite unusual for a hardcore rave artist to release any studio albums. It's usually kind of singles, 12-inch usually, the odd DJ mix, and then a load of digital stuff. But at least in the late 90s, he'd put 2 kind of studio albums out. I don't know if you can call them that really, as there's a lot of remixes from other artists on here, such as Sign Unknown, Force and Styles, Banana Man, Fade, etc. But I class it as his studio album, or his second one. And I love my happy hardcore, as those who have tuned into past 12-inch dance singles videos will attest to. This is the World of Vinyl Groover Part 2.
When I'm lost, will you run? Will you come find me? Can you find the time? Will you ring? Will you call? Could you shout for me? Can you spare me time? When I'm lost, will you run? Will you come find me? Can you find the time? Will you ring? Will you call? Could you shout for me? Can you spare me time? If you look like a book, then you will read me. You can read the lines. If I run and I fall, I know you'll be waiting. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time.
Right then, mail opening, and a nice small one here. You look at this and you think, oh, that'll be a DVD, maybe even a Blu-ray. No, it's not, because there's 2 items in here, 2 albums. It is a Discogs purchase again. One of these was £40 and the other one was £25. Have you guessed what the format is yet? Really looking at the size, it can really, at least if you know what I collect, it can really be only one of 2 formats. Nicely packaged. Some protective card here, although I've got to be a bit careful because I don't want to tear off the hype sticker that's present. Are we off? Yeah, just about. I got 2 mini discs. The first one is Millennium by Will Smith. So I've got Will Smith's first solo album. Obviously he was doing stuff as the Fresh Prince with Jazzy Jeff prior to the kind of Men in Black, Big Willie style era. I've reviewed Big Willie style for Mini Disc Monday. This was never an album that I particularly wanted, and yes, it seems a bit weird that I have paid £25 for an album that I'm not massively looking forward to, but as you know, I've been doing MD Monday, the series now, for it must be a bit over 2 years old now, the series, and it will come to an end at some point because I'm never just going to be able to pick up more and more mini discs and not spend an absolute fortune doing so. I'm envisioning now, what with this and the next album to add into the rotation, that Mini Disc Monday may finish around end of January 2028. if I'm still alive. If I do buy more mini discs, and there is a couple of others I've had my eye on, but they are even more expensive, so I'm kind of holding off for a little bit. Millennium was Will Smith's second album, or second without Jazzy Jeff, although I think Jeff himself was involved in the production of this, and presumably Big Willie style as well. Won't go on too much about these, as I will do an in-depth review eventually for Minidisc Monday. But the singles on here, according to the hype sticker, are Will 2K and Wild Wild West. So £25. It was the other one, the last album to show you, that I was really interested in, and I saw that he had this in stock and it was cheapish for a mini disc. I thought, why not? I've had the first Will Smith album, I might as well get the second and final one as well, to the best of my research. The Fresh Prince, Will Smith himself, and Millennium. And finally, here's an artist, another of my favourites. She was in my top 40 solo artists countdown that I did last year. I've seen her live as well. I saw her back with my eldest daughter in February last year. And it is Cyndi Lauper with 12 Deadly Sins and Then Some. I own a couple of Cyndi albums, both Mo-Fi editions of her first two albums. I always knew that there was certain work of hers that was out on MD, but a little bit pricey, and this was £40. But I am a fan, you know, more on the casual side. She's not kind of elite tier for me. But I love collecting mini discs. I love reviewing them as well. I'll be gutted when MD Monday eventually comes to an end. Perhaps you won't be, but there we go. What's it say on the hype sticker? Includes, hey now, girls just want to have fun. Time after time, true colours, I drove all night, and the world is gone. I think that is. Plus 2 previously unreleased tracks. Now then, the seller did say the case was kind of broken at the bottom. I think I see what he means. I wonder if it's even on its hinges properly. No, but I've got a lot of mini disc cases like that. It doesn't bother me at all, really. There you go, we'll look at the disc there. So this came out in 1994. Millennium, by the way, that would have been from 1999. Just happy to have a Cyndi Lauper compilation in the collection. When she was promoting her farewell tour and the documentary she did on, was that Paramount Plus, I think, or was it Disney? One or the other. I did see it. Let the Canary Sing. She released another compilation album called Let the Canary Sing, and I was tempted by it. They were selling it at the Birmingham NEC, and my daughter did offer to buy it for me, but I dread to think the markup for it, and it wasn't a special edition, it was just standard black vinyl. I have probably spent, I'm assuming that's probably how much that would have cost at the arena really, but I've spent £40 on my beloved format mini disc here, 12 Deadly Sins from Ms. Cyndi Lauper. And that was Records Roundup number 102. Not just records, but we had a couple of mini discs today. We don't get many of them anymore, as you know why. They're expensive. The cheap ones that you can still get quite easily, and you don't have to break the bank, they're kind of a bit crap really. But anyway, this isn't the time for me to start talking about the pros and cons of mini disc collecting, although I can do that, of course, if you would like to. Please let me know in the comments, or if you can find me on social media, message me, or just tell me oh, do a video just kind of talking about Minidisc or something, because I could talk about it till the cows come home. But I'm going to shut up about it now and say my goodbyes, and say my thanks as well to all of you for watching today, with special thanks that go to my generous patrons and wonderful, gorgeous subscribers. I'm going to go now. Loads to listen to, bit of crap to throw in the bin, the packaging, not the actual music itself, cheeky. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for Records Roundup 103 and my next music collecting video. Cheers, everyone. See ya!